take the bus and I take the light rail.
I take my bicycle to work.
I ride the bus all the time, and I would like more bus services.
I take the ferry, I take the bus, I take the Sounder, I take the Link, and I enjoy it.
Seattle is growing faster than its surrounding suburbs for the first time in over a century. In the next 20 years, Seattle is expected to add 120,000 new residents. As we grow, our city must ensure that we become a more livable and sustainable city. I thought I'd come over and say hi. We're just walking and look at the streets, how we can make the neighborhood better.
In June of 2014, Mayor Ed Murray announced his Summer of Safety initiative.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
A coordinated approach to public safety that mobilized resources to activate streets, provide jobs for young adults, and change the built environment of crime hotspots.
And we're going to walk with you, and as we identify issues, we're going to address those issues.
To accomplish all this, Find It, Fix It community walks were developed.
One of my first conversations with the teachers union about preschool happened in Suncadia at this annual leadership retreat. I think we have a different perspective.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it should be made clear it's not about the retreat per se. Retreat was an example to illustrate where the council's priorities are, the city government's priorities are and have been. And in reality, we have to be honest here. To pretend that labor and workers and big business and Boeing and Alaska Airlines, they're all on one level playing field and they're just, making their own case and the council is deciding their, priorities based on equal hearing for them all. That's not honest. That's not what's happening.
Hey, one more thing before we go. Seattle Art Museum recently opened a new exhibit. It's called Pop Departures, featuring pop art from the 60s to the 90s. And here I am, a living, breathing Roy Lichtenstein painting. So let's hit the market to see what Seattle knows about pop art. Come on.
What do I know about pop art?
Pop art, so like Lady Gaga's new album.
I think of Andy Warhol, I think.
You know of a famous pop artist, the first name that comes to your mind?
Not really.
Maybe Andy Warhol?
No, not familiar.
Oh, not familiar. But you know what you are familiar with? Look at this. I think that's kind of a pop art look right there. I'm supposed to be a Roy Lichtenstein painting. He was a famous pop artist. So it's not the measles.
Russ Sickler has lived on 3rd Avenue South in Seattle in an RV with his wife and 2 kids for nearly 3 years.
We've just been out here a long time. Sorry.
He's sorry because on a veteran's disability check, he can't give more to his sons, like 10-year-old Logan, who struggles to find a bright side about where he lives.
It's better than nothing.
Then there's 14-year-old Isaiah, who suffers with Asperger's syndrome, but still knows the place where his family stays just doesn't feel right.
I don't like talking about people where he lives.
We got our TV like anybody else.
Sickler is trying to provide all the comforts of home, but it's not easy.
I had a gentleman die out front of my truck last week, stone dead, needle hanging out of his arm. How do you explain that to a 9 and 10-year-old? It's impossible.
I started about a year after my wife died because I needed something to keep me out of mischief.
Jim is a guy that at 99 years old could work most people right under the table. He doesn't look like he's gained or shed a pound since the pictures of him back in 1942. And he has so much energy, it's just hard to contain sometimes.
I'm the long and short of it.
Yeah.
He's the short of it.
Yeah.
He's the young guy, I'm the old guy.
Yeah.
I was born in Chicago, and my parents are both Japanese. They met in college. I moved to Delaware for most of my childhood, 7 years, and then we moved to Seattle. I think the first encounter that I had with knowing that I was different was probably when I got called a Jap for the first time. And that was like in 3rd grade. It was kind of awkward for me. Like, I didn't understand where that hate was coming from. We moved to Japan for 1 year in Sendai. I moved there when I was in 6th grade. I thought, well, finally I'm going back to a place where no one will call me a Jap. And already in middle school, it was kind of hard trying to fit in and everything. And my Japanese was not very good. They kind of treated me like a disabled child a little bit. Like, oh, he looks Japanese, but he can't speak, he must be slow. You know, being called out for being racially different kind of sucked. Then being called out for just being different, but racially the same, that kind of shook my world. But there were things that I did well at. There's a painting class where they started painting in watercolor, and it was the first time I touched the medium at all. I never experienced any painting before.
Hi, and welcome to our special coverage of the 40th Annual Seattle International Film Festival. I'm Nancy Guppy, and once again we are here at McCaw Hall, ready for the opening night fun. Okay, now here is the plan. We're going to gaze at all the fancy red carpet people. We're going to show you highlights of films with a Northwest connection, and I will be talking to all sorts of filmmakers here on the red carpet and inside. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this little taste of SIP 2014.
Seattle police say new video technology holds officers accountable, but not everyone is smiling for the camera.
For us, it's really about building public trust.
What happens to all that video? Or the information the city collects about your energy usage or your bill payments?
You should be able to have control over that.
Take our online poll now and join us for a live conversation Wednesday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. at Town Hall. Seattle speaks about the city's new privacy plan and how it could impact you.
Our digital lives are being collected as evidence against us.
Hopefully we can alleviate concerns before they start.
Thank you for calling.
Get details and tickets for this upcoming privacy forum at seattlechannel.org.
Do you want cookies?
Sure.
Todd lives with his parents in Federal Way. While they help with meals and laundry, Todd is on his own every day, completely independent and probably one of the most dedicated employees you'll ever meet. 6 blocks to the bus stop, 27 miles downtown, and 28 floors up to Seattle City Light. If you've received a notice lately about your power service, it probably came from Todd's desk.
To be able to go to work and be able to show this company what a very hard worker I am.
When you say the Smith Tower to anyone in Seattle, they well recognize the building that you're talking of. It stands out as a beacon, and that was one of the intents. From any angle, it can be observed.
Wes Nodell organizes gun shows in Washington and Oregon and says expanded background checks would not have stopped shootings like Sandy Hook or the deadly Seattle Pacific campus shooting earlier this year.
Criminals are going to get guns, period, and they're certainly not going to do it in any legal fashion.
Nodell says he would prefer a national system regarding background checks, as proposed by I-591 to avoid confusion.
The federal government ought to set the criteria, standardize it to where we can go from state to state and know when we're not breaking the law.
Some 594 advocates say Washington state needs to lead the way. They claim up to 40% of gun purchases nationwide happen without a background check. The 594 camp says since 1998, 40,000 gun purchases in our state have been stopped by the federal background check system.
They save lives. They won't save every life, but they save thousands of lives.
Polls show 594 and 591, though contradictory measures could both pass this November. So prepare yourself for this debate to possibly continue into our court system, even after the smoke clears from the ballot box.
Welcome to Kittitas Valley. We don't smoke marijuana here. We don't take LR trips on LSD. I basically shoot my life as I live it, and not all moments are created equal. You know, you go to the dentist, I don't want to photograph that. These other moments where there's something happening in front of you, these beautiful moments, that's what you photograph. It's almost cinematic. It just happens right in front of you, and you snagged it by accident. It's like a fish went by the river and it ran into your hook. It didn't even swallow the hook. You hooked it by the tail.
All right, let's go. Quick, it won't last long.
Dementia, in its more common form, Alzheimer's, is a degenerative brain disease that robs people of their memories, their ability to reason, and their sense of security. There is no cure, and the outlook is bleak. But for these seniors living with dementia, a vigorous walk can clear both the lungs and the mind.
You have to keep up with us.
It's all part of Seattle Parks and Recreation's plan to provide seniors with dementia-friendly programs.
I love this group.
Nancy Olson and her husband Steve started this walking group as a way of getting out and about. They say it helps being among their people.
He enjoys all the activities where he can be himself.
Sometimes I find myself dreaming, yet I'm wide awake staring through reality screaming, this must be a mistake. 50 years later, we still live by the same 4 words of the same speech. We try to walk the same walk, we even try to mimic the way he preached. Yet we fall through on the follow through.
When I was asked to write something about Martin Luther King's speech, I just tried to channel what it was I felt as a child. And then as becoming an adult, what it was that I would see in my environment, and how hearing the same speech every single year from adolescence to adulthood, what did I feel needed to be added to it?
To see it going up, I was like, wow, Rick, you did it.
Do people listen to a thought? That was about the most powerful energy I felt. This is going to speak louder than I ever will.